University. He asked me to keep his introduction short. He's my boss. I will oblige him. Actually, part of his own introduction will be interwoven through his comments, and so I will keep it short. One thing to know, though, about Mark, he is tremendous. He has been a real asset to this institution, and all of us are delighted that he's here. And we're delighted that you're here, so I give you Mark Heckler.
Thanks, John. Very kind, short introduction. I figure you're all here as administrators. We like to get on with it, so I'm just going to get on with it. It was late fall 2008 when John Stephen Paul stopped by my office to chat. And JSP was chair of the faculty senate at that point. He was a visual consultant on all of the major university ceremonies like commencement, a gifted dramatist, a director, and generally the person you went to with any question or to seek any advice. So I wasn't sure why John was coming to meet with me, but I saw when he came in that he had these folders from the Lilly Fellows program, and I thought, well, he must be coming to ask for money. That was what the conversation was going to be about, but he has something else in mind. He told me that 2 years hence, there would be this 20th anniversary of the Lilly Fellows program, and that the national conference would be here at the birthplace of the program, Valparaiso University, and he thought about this idea of an administrator's workshop focused on the arts and institutional mission. And he asked if I'd consider delivering a talk in relation to that gathering. And it sounded like a really good idea 2 years ago. And as the past 2 weeks have gone by and I've been scrambling to pull my thoughts together, I just remembered that at that time I said, and I still would say, that I'd do anything for John Stephen Paul. And so I said yes, and so I sit here today. And that was 2 years ago. Most of you know that Professor Paul passed away unexpectedly the next summer, and he left a great void on this campus, a void which I especially feel today, as I face you to present these thoughts on the arts as institutional signature, because I would have really benefited from 2 years' worth of conversation with John, just to get his take on it, so I had some sense as to what he was imagining. But, as always, you know, when I think about JSP, I know he sits among that great cloud of witnesses that are around us today, and so I'm going to lift this talk up to him. As you know, the Fellows Program is under the able stewardship of Joe Creech, and I really am deeply appreciative for what Joe is doing and for him carrying forward this conversation, which I hope you'll enjoy. We were at lunch, and I was kind of probing with the two folks that were sitting at lunch, so why was there such interest in this topic among administrators? I was surprised that the panels and everything came so quickly, and I thought, well, the one would be that those group of artists who are sitting in administrative roles who are trying to figure out, how do I translate this so the president and the provost will figure out why we're important and continue to fund us and give us the resources that we need to do what we need to do. And the other half are those administrators who keep looking at all those dollars sitting in the budget thinking, you know, I need to have a good reason to keep this going because the pressures on the budget are getting tighter and tighter. So my assumption is that both types are in the room today. And so my talk will tend to drift back and forth. There are some things I'd like to pursue in the conversation. First, what does it mean to be an institutional signature? What does that mean? And what are we thinking about when we use those words? Second is the role of institutional context, which is very important. And I'll spend a good deal of this time talking about this particular institutional context so you can calibrate against it, because one size does not fit all in this area. The third that we'll just start to get to, but I hope we'll spend some time with in the conversation, is to ask ourselves, what are the governing schemata that are operating among key institutional leaders, both in terms of what they espouse as their theories and belief, and as well as those theories and belief that are actually in action when they're making decisions and thinking. And so that helps us then begin to understand why and how people act the way they do when crisis comes. And so I think we might talk a little bit about that, or I hope that we will. So how might institutional leaders in a variety of roles respond when matters of artistic practice and freedom come into conflict with expected behavioral norms or dominant theological positions at faith-based institutions. And then finally, what might we do as institutional leaders and arts faculty to mitigate the inherent risks in fostering vibrant arts programs in an environment of academic freedom at faith-based institutions? And I do not separate academic freedom from artistic freedom. They are the same. So there isn't a separate category called artistic freedom. They operate alongside. It's just that the risks are much higher often when you're working. The only thing else I guess I would liken it to would be clinical trials in a medical school. There's a lot of risk inherent in that, and same thing would be true for the arts. So a few caveats and disclaimers before we dive in here. You came perhaps to hear from university presidents. I'm going to try to my best to frame my remarks from that perspective. But you're going to hear the clear bias of someone who much more fully identifies with the word artist and teacher than president or administrator. So you just need to know that when you hear from me, that your president or your provost might not exactly be operating with the same theories in use. And so that's, I think, something to keep in mind. Also, I cannot, in any authentic way, play the role of theologian for you today. I'm not a pastor, I'm not a philosopher, I'm not a theoretician. The first half of my professional life was that of a practicing artist and a teacher. I worked as an actor, a director, a designer, and a producer for the live theater with some media work thrown in the side so we could put food on the table. My work as a teacher has focused on the preparation of actors and directors for the stage. This is inherently practical and technical work. I have worked with others to create these imaginary worlds that masquerade as truth, hundreds of times over 20 years. And then one day, I awakened to the possibility that these God-given gifts were to be used in other ways than making plays. Theatrical direction is largely work focusing on first discerning the latent talents and capabilities of a group of people, then imagining a possible future, and coaxing each person toward a vision, and empowering each to contribute willingly towards shaping and realizing that vision. And that, I realized one day, is the work of a university president. So through the twists and turns of life, doors opening and doors closing, moments of calling and clarity amidst the opaqueness of everyday life, I found myself here doing this. Serving as a president of a most wonderful institution, standing at the crossroads of Athens and Jerusalem, and graduating extraordinary students who lead and serve church and society. So those are the caveats and disclaimers before we dive in. So let's start with this term, institutional signature. Let me just solicit some ideas from all of you. When you saw that title, the arts as institutional signature, what did you think that meant, that word, those words, institutional signature? Let's just generate some ideas there. Anybody?
Guarantor. Guarantor. Signature like a guarantor.
Okay, all right. So to guarantee the mission of the institution.
Right.
Yes?
A signature by definition is ideally unique to one person or one thing. And so for me, it's a metaphor for the hallmark or the unique feature of an institution.
Okay.
I thought in terms of an icon that is immediately recognized and associated with that institution.
Okay, so that the icon, iconographic qualities?
It's your identity, it's who you are.
Identity, okay. Any others? Yes?
Visibility.
Visibility. All right, anything else? All right, yes, go ahead.
What caught my attention was the singular form of the word. Many of our institutions may want to have more than one signature, or there are people in the institutions who think they represent the signature or would like to.
Okay, all right, that sounds like a provost or a dean of arts to me. Okay, so here are some facets then we've heard. First, institutional signature equals exemplars of mission, so that kind of exemplary, the guarantor was used. That there's a set of distinctive or unique qualities that go with signature, something that sets the program apart or sets the institution apart. There's this aspect of advancing the institution's identity or reputation. That we oftentimes can associate with it. And then also this matter of using the arts to attract students, to attract faculty, to attract donors, and to create that virtuous cycle as we try to put those pieces together and allow a program then to rise in quality and reputation over time. So let me just check in with all of you. What programs do you have in your institutions that you would call the arts? So let's just get some of these out on the table. Obvious ones?
Music.
Okay, some music.
Music, art, theater, performing arts center.
Okay, performing arts. Some others?
Creative writing.
Creative writing.
Dance.
Dance.
Visual media.
Visual media.
Presenting series. Presenting series.
Okay, so the performing arts series or the public
Outer
series.
arts, right.
Guest artists.
Film and screenwriting.
Film and screenwriting.
Design.
Design.
Technology.
Technology.
Ecclesiastical art.
Okay, ecclesiastical arts.
Art museums.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that one.
Art museums.
Okay.
Church music.
Church music.
Arts education.
Gallery. Arts education.
Art collection.
Collection. Museum collection. Curatorial studies. Museum studies.
Architecture.
Architecture.
Design.
Any folks working in digital media? All right, so folks in the digital media space, graphic design, and it goes on and on and on. So there's a wide variety. Some of you might have entertainment, entertainment business, entertainment law, music industry studies, recording arts and sciences. So as you continue to go out there, you'll find there's a collection of the aesthetic, the commercial, and the technical that all come together in those kinds of programs.